Okay, folks, back again with another video for the Peavey Vypyr VIP 1 amplifier that I have, which is back here with me, already on, ready to go. This one I wanted to go over the owner's manual extras, the extra features that you can manipulate the amp into giving you. Now, on the last video, I talked about updating your firmware, and I mentioned some of these features, but I couldn't quite find the actual link to where that was. Now I was able to find that it's actually on the Peavey website. It's just not called operational features. So let me take you back to the screen where I originally went to, and I want to show you some of these things. Alright, so here's some of the extra places that I went to. Now, these are the ones that I thought was the Vypyr Tips Tricks FAQ. Read this first. I thought this was for the Vypyr VIP, but this is not. Some of this stuff will work, but for the most part, if you have a regular original Vypyr series, then by all means you can try this stuff out. This is the link. If not, I'm just going to go ahead and say don't bother with this page, because all this extra stuff for the Vypyr VIP models will be included on these other links I'm about to give you. Okay, so first of all, let's go back to the Vypyr VIP products page. Alright, so here's how we're going to find this. We're going to go to, let's go home. Alright, instrument amplifiers, guitar amplifiers. I'm going to scroll down to where it says Vypyr, not Vypyr Pro, which looks awesome. I love to have one of those. But the Vypyr VIP series. Let's view the products. Let's view any one of these. It should pull up the same information. I'm going to go with VIP 1 because that's what I'm using. And here is the Vypyr Owner's Manual and the Owner's Manual Extras. Okay, that's what we're looking for, the Owner's Manual Extras. If you click that, it will pull up this page, the one that I tried to show you earlier. Alright, now here's some things that I'm going to kind of go over that I highlighted on my own page. Alright, so the demo mode, this is the light show that usually is displayed if you do not have a guitar cable plugged in to the amplifier. It will do kind of like a screensaver mode, a light show, and you can disable that so that you don't have to have that happening every time. One great benefit of disabling this is that when the demo mode is disabled, the last loaded preset is loaded at power up. If demo mode is not disabled, it will always load bank A with the first preset, if I'm not mistaken. And that's a big pain to have to go back and find the preset you want to be on and all that. So instead of doing that, what we want to do is disable the demo mode so that whenever we turn our amplifier back on, it will remain on the last preset we had before we turned it off. Okay, very important. Another form that I looked at, and I'm not going to spend time finding it right now. It may be the end of this one. Let me make sure down here. No, it's not this one. I just looked at it just a few minutes ago. But another form that I looked at said that you need to make sure to wait at least 10 seconds before turning the amplifier off, so that when you switch to another preset, it will correctly save that preset in its memory banks, in its RAM, if you will, its memory cache, so that when you turn it off, it will remember that preset when you turn it back on. So don't change your preset and then turn it off. Change your preset, let it sit there for about 10 seconds, and then turn your amp off. And when you turn it back on, it will load at the last saved preset. All right, now, with factory reset here, what I have highlighted on mine, rather than reading over all this stuff, I have highlighted this little portion here. Let's read that. The user can open VIP 1, VIP 2. This is apparently not for VIP 3. But this is for VIP 1 and 2. You can open, quote unquote, the banks by holding bank buttons B and D together during power on. This allows any preset to be saved in any position of any bank. Now previously, The banks are closed, okay? Only electric presets can be saved in the first 2 banks of each group of 4. Only acoustic presets can be saved in the 3rd bank, and only bass presets can be saved in the 4th bank. Now let's go back here to our product here and look at this. All right, you see the instrument type there? A, B, C, or D. Those are your instrument banks. A and B are reserved for electric guitar only. C is reserved for acoustic. D is reserved for bass. But if you want to open the banks, you can do so, okay? You hold down B and D together during the power on. So have the amp off, hold these buttons down, turn the amp on, and that opens the banks. Now, I haven't done this myself. I've been debating whether I want to do this or not. I like the fact that with the VIP, with the original Vypyr, you had 3 banks, actually 4 banks, to save any preset you wanted to. Although it didn't have a bass instrument feature, and it didn't have acoustic guitar feature to where you could save that. All the banks were, you could save it to whatever you wanted to. Now, myself, I thought about just having the bass, go back here, the bass preset for acoustic and bass, because really you only have 4 presets when you're looking at this. I wish I could stay zoomed in on this. I don't think I can. If I click on that, will it let me show a bigger picture? No, that's just all that is. The bass down here, I wish, basically all you can have is 2 acoustic models, and you only have 2 acoustic bass models anyway. If you'll look over here to amplifiers, that knob, this says Trace and E-Coost, and Trace and Peavey, and it's in green, and it says, see if I can actually zoom in here a bit better for you. Alright, let's do that. Hopefully that's showing. It says Trace, those 2 green, it says acoustic in the middle of that, and then on bass, it says Trace and Peavey. Okay, so those are basically 2 bass amps and 2 acoustic amps. And if you put those on the bass, that's a total of 4. So you can totally get away with that. And you can still have 3 banks for all your electric guitar stuff if you wanted to. Because look at all these effects. All these effects mixed with all these different amplifier models. 2 banks are just not enough for that. And that's why I'm seriously thinking about opening these banks up so that it will be better. Alright, so you can open those banks up by holding B and D together. I actually specified this in the last video. I read all this on screen, but now you can see this here. Basically, this is telling you what version of firmware you have by the number of LEDs that are on for each value of digit. Okay, so I explained that a little bit better in the last video. If you want to see that, you can either read this or look at the last video. Let's scroll on down. Okay, and I'm going to flip the page here on mine. If you want to, on your own, you can read all this. I don't really, you know... Oh, by the way, before I get to that, let's see. This said B and D together. Factory reset. Actually, you have to hold down A and B. So this will not reset. Don't worry about this resetting your amp, okay? This will just open the banks, this combination. If you press A and B together, then that's what's going to factory reset. Okay, so let's just scroll down a bit more. This is the VIP 3 menu. I'm not dealing with the VIP 3. Not worrying about that. There's probably all this stuff that you can do, like open banks and all that stuff, but I'm not worried about that. Okay, we'll get to this combination stuff here in just a second. Saving presets on VIP 1 and 2. Tells you how to save that. Let's see if there's anything. Okay, so it shows you how to save across banks. Basically, in a nutshell, to save a preset, you click a bank and you hold it, and it will start blinking. And if you click it and hold it again, it will save it on that channel of that bank. So the bank is A, the channel is 1 through 4. All right, and they're different colors. You have green, red, orange, and kind of an off orange yellowish color. So if I wanted to save it to a different channel on the bank, then I would press and hold the bank button, the A, B, C, or D, and then I would, instead of pressing hold it again, which saves it at its current channel, I would press until the color came up that I wanted to save it on. Okay, so once again, all you do is you press and hold. It will then start blinking. Then you press until you find the color you want to save it to. If it's already on the color, press and hold. If it's not, press until you find the color and then press and hold it on that color, and that will save it to that bank. Alright, now USB recording operation. I actually have this whole section highlighted. That's what's highlighted on my page. When using USB as a recording interface, the speaker will remain on until you start recording. Then it will mute. It unmutes when you stop recording. That's kind of a handy feature. When using the USB as a data interface, when using Vypyr Edit program, the speaker will remain on. So I can actually tweak all the Vypyr Edit stuff and hear the changes on the amp itself. So that's a very good thing to know. Like I said in the last video, I've never really used this as a recording interface. It doesn't seem to, at the current moment, my Mac doesn't seem to pick it up as an input. Okay, so I've got it plugged in right now. If I was to go to my sound settings, let's go to my sound preferences here. Okay, so I have VIP Vypyr audio, so it actually is showing that now. That's really cool. So maybe I can record using the USB. That would be amazing. So let's just do a little test here. Let's go to Audacity and see if this will actually record using the audio, which would be amazing if it does. So Vypyr audio input. Let's see what happens if I kind of record some stuff here. Let me do my volume levels. Make sure my meter's showing up. Oops, if I type the right buttons here. Playback meter. Start monitoring, that's what I'm looking for. Oh, that's awesome. I could totally... Now, I can't hear the speaker because it's monitoring. Turn the monitoring off, it plays, start monitoring, mutes the speaker. Okay, so this is considered recording. So let's see what happens here. If I turn this, if I give myself a preset, turn the monitoring off here. Okay, so let me start monitoring that real quick. But the problem here is, looks like, let me see the preferences. Problem here is it's not showing up as left and right. I do not know why. Oh. Okay, because it's mono, then it's going to be it's always on the left. I forgot about that. So let's record. This will be awesome if I can record using the amp straight into, this is Audacity. I typically use Traction, but rather than opening that up, we'll just start with audio on Traction. If it works on Traction, I know it'll work on, Audacity, I know it'll work on Traction. So let's see what happens here. Okay, so the levels are very low. I'm talking and it's not picking up, so that's good. It's not picking up any outside noise. Let's go back here to the front here and listen to what that sounds like. Very cool. Let's select all of that. Since it's so low, we can actually amplify it. It's already set to a preset amount for me. That's really cool. Let's normalize that. And let's listen to audio noise. Remove some noise here, noise reduction. And select all of this. Take and remove the noise again. Okay, there's still a lot of noise going on, so let's bump that up to about 15. Okay, not really working, so, but at least we know it's recording. Okay, so the cool thing is, if I want to hear this, instead of just playing it out of a whim, I'll have to have my headphones on. Okay, so the speaker's muted, but the headphones, it should work just fine. Let's quit Audacity. And no, I do not want to save that. Alright. Now that that's off, you can hear that's playing just fine. By the way, that's one of the best distorted channels I've been able to find, and all that is I've got the Tube Screamer enabled with the red channel of the twin amp, believe it or not. And that gives me a really nice distorted tone. So let's go back up here. I printed out the first 2 pages because I don't need the weight and dimensions and all this, so you may want to print that out. Now, here's the main meat of the extras. Okay, so this is how you control your Peavey amp with different presets. All right. Not presets, but different power button combinations. Alright, so let's read this. Pressing and holding certain combinations of front panel buttons while turning on the amp power causes the VIP to perform special startup functions. Proper technique is to hold the button or pair of buttons, turn on the power, and continue to hold the button combination until the startup function has begun. Usually 4 or 5 seconds is sufficient. The following front panel combinations can be used during a power up on VIP and VIP 2. Alright? So, button A and B perform a factory reset. If you ever need to do that, it's right here. Say you wanted to do that for, if you wanted to sell the amp or something. Okay? Button A and D show the code revision on the LEDs. Now, I performed that on the last video about the updating the firmware. I did that close to the end of the video when I actually updated the firmware. A and D will show you the LED readouts that we talked about up here. Show the code version. Okay, that's the point number 3. All right, button B and C toggle and enable or disable of katakana characters for naming presets. Now, this is only for the VIP 3 because we can't name our presets. It doesn't have an LED display, a digital display with characters. So this is only, I'm assuming, for VIP 3. So I've actually put a line right through that and crossed it out. Button B and D, holding both of these, will open up the VIP 1 and VIP 2 banks. So it will open those banks and make them available for any preset you want to save on those. Okay, I'm not sure what happens when you open and if you close them later on, if they're back to normal or if they're what they are and you had to perform a factory reset to get it back to where you want it to be. I'm not sure. But if you have VIP Vypyr Edit enabled, you should be able to save a preset on your computer and load them back up later if you have to perform a factory reset. So that's one thing I would recommend, is eventually saving your presets. And I went over that on the last video as well on how to install Vypyr Edit for your Mac. The last video about updating your firmware. Alright, so in the last one, button C and D toggle enable disable of demo mode light show. Now that is one of the most important things. Remember we said that earlier. If you disable the light show, then the last loaded preset is loaded at power up. Very, very important. Very handy. I can't tell you how aggravating it is when you're opening up that, when you're turning on your amplifier and it goes back to the very first preset. It doesn't leave off where you left it. Okay, so you have to disable the demo mode to do this. Who needs demo mode anyway? I mean, it does nothing while your guitar is plugged in. It only functions when your guitar is unplugged. If that's the case, why would you even have the amp on in the first place? I don't know. Alright, so this says, actually these that are starred, okay, actually let's go back here. The following front panel button combinations can be used during power up on VIP 3. Okay, so these can be used. There's the katakana characters. Now I don't know why they've included this. This says these are included on the VIP 1 and VIP 2. I don't know why this has these characters for naming presets, because there's no digital display on that. Okay, so maybe you want to look that up and see what that is. I'm not sure. I did that once, but I can't remember what it was. Let's see here. You have a reset. So you can disable the light show on VIP 3 as well, which is awesome, because definitely, trust me, you don't want it. This feature is also available in the VIP menu during normal operation. Okay, so this is, once again, the optional features. Here's the link. I will include that on the video, and to find that, the quickest way is just to go to Instrument Amplifiers, Guitar Amplifiers, Vypyr VIP 1, and then you have the owner's manual, the extras. I don't know what a cut sheet is. Then you got the high resolution, I guess these are the pictures. Okay, so if I do cut sheet, let's see what that is. I'm not exactly sure what that is. It's an overview. Okay, so that's all it is, just an overview. Alright, so there you go. You got the owner's manual, manual extras, and then here's the VIP 1, high resolution. So I can zoom in and look at all these different features here. Alright, so thanks so much for watching, guys. I'm going to go ahead and close that out and put me back on the screen. Appreciate you guys watching. I hope this has maybe explained and answered some questions you may or may not have known about the Vypyr VIP series. It's very interesting when you're messing around with this amp, what it can do. And some of these features are available on the original Vypyr series, but I've never really experimented with them until I got this Vypyr VIP. And now I'm so stoked and excited that I can use this to record with. Now, I don't know what the problem was before when I tried to hook up this the USB to my computer. I don't know why it wasn't working before, but now it seems to be working fine, so that's very good. And if there's no latency, which I didn't notice any latency when I was recording, of course I didn't have my earphones in or my headphones in, so I couldn't tell. If there's any latency, then you can always go through an output jack on your headphone jack and bring it around to your sound card, the input on your Mac, or which I recommend, a USB audio interface, which I've done a video on that recently for the Behringer Euphoria audio interface. So that's it for this video, guys, and I thank you so much for watching. I hope you got a lot out of this. If you like this video, if it's been helpful, please give it a like, a thumbs up. Please share it with your friends, and please subscribe if you're new to the channel. A lot of good guitar features and some guitar kind of techie stuff like this, and some other things here every now and then. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next video, whatever that may be. I'm in a video making mood right now, so who knows what the next one will be. We'll talk to you guys later, and keep playing some guitar. And like I said in the last video, I never know how to end these things, so I'm going to come up with a catchphrase or something. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you later. God bless.